guarding man-to-man, but there were times I had to get him man-to-man. And your favorite team that you guys love to face in your division?
Yours.
Yes, sir.
It's like the games like you play against the Raiders, you might get 3 sacks when they had Demarcus Russell, which I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I got 3 sacks on them in the first half, right?
Yeah.
And I'm ready, and they take Tommy Maddox.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to West War Room Rivals. It is the Tuesday night reaction show. Gentlemen, how's it going? How are we feeling as losers of the AFC West now?
Woohoo! All of us.
All of us. Took a while, but we all got there.
I mean, I'm still feeling pretty good. I know people were trying to bring me down, and they were getting a little butthurt that I wasn't. So
I will say you did a really good job at holding it together during that TikTok live. You showed up like you said you would. Even though they were gaslighting you, you did your best. So I appreciate it.
I stand by how I ended the pregame show on Sunday. I still stand by that.
As you should. All right. Before we dive into we have some breaking news that we're going to do in just a minute. But before we do, we want to give some shout outs to our sponsors, Vidite Coffee, Rival Codes, Field Ops, Emporia State Federal Credit Union, and JBW Solutions. We're recording out of the JBW Solutions studio currently. If you're watching us live on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Turn on post notifications so you get alerted anytime we go live or have a new episode. Austin, give the people the breaking news.
What's up, Cody? How you doing?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Not too bad. Well, just want everyone to know this is the first person I ever reached out to when we put this podcast together. But the one and only legend, Derek Johnson, linebacker, Kansas City Chief. I dominated on Madden for a better part of a decade with him. We'll be joining the War Room next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I got my time zones that we talk about mixed up, but we have Derek Johnson joining the War Room. He was a Raider for a second.
You said he's joining on the 7th, right?
Whatever Tuesday is.
It's a good question. What day is Tuesday?
4th, 3rd? 3rd.
Third.
He's too excited.
Yeah, February 3rd. When he texted me, because my brother had a snow day, and I turned to my brother with just like a pause because I couldn't form a sentence. And I'm like, dude, yeah, 2/3/26, 7 p.m. Central Time. So I'm wearing his jersey. I've had this jersey for like 18 years. It's still the one and only jersey I've ever bought myself, Chiefs jersey. You can tell it's a little rough, but it's seen a lot of game days. But I'm excited to have him on. We're obviously going to talk a little bit about his days at Texas, obviously his glory days with the Chiefs, and then his wife and him also wrote a children's book. So we're going to talk about that and kind of share that and go over that a little bit, because here at the War Room, we want to get to know them as a person, and that was something very special for him and his wife. So definitely want to make sure you subscribe, tune in that night, and tune in on the chat we're going to have with the Derek Johnson.
That's incredible. That was an incredible get. I think you texted us this yesterday or on Sunday night, and it was yesterday, and it was just kind of like, oh shoot, like we knew this was big fish, and I told you this in the group chat, that I was more excited for you than for the show, just because I know what Derek Johnson meant to you or means to you currently. And so I'm excited that we've got confirmation of that. And I'm more stoked for you that you got a chance to interact with him and that you're going to get a chance to talk directly to him. And I can only fathom like what this episode is going to be like. We thought Dick Vermeil was special. This might take the cake. So
I might honestly just have like a blank, like you guys ever watch 8 Mile when Eminem just chokes?
Yeah,
that might be me on Tuesday. Like it's going to be an incredible first impression on him, but just in case, just to prepare you guys, I might just have that old 8 Mile choke scene.
It's either going to be that you get choked up with not knowing what to say, or you're going to have so many follow-up questions. It's going to be just you and him for a while. And I'm okay watching that kind of play out. I think that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, that is true. I might just be like, you guys aren't part of this right now. I'm sorry. It's me and my boy. You don't know how many games you won me on Madden, dude. That's the first thing I want to tell you. No. But yeah, we're excited. It's awesome for the War Room too. We love all of our guests, right? But this one obviously hits a little close to home for me.
Yeah.
But for the War Room in general, it's still an awesome guest and going to be an awesome episode.
No, it's absolutely a huge get. Corey, what were your thoughts when he broke the news to you?
Yeah. So again, I think my first thought was we started this 8 months ago. I look back, Coach Dick Ramil, obviously our first guest. Then we were like, okay, the former players. Then we had Matt Prater on, who becomes a current player that we had on. And then we get Garrett Bowles. Then we had John Abraham. Then we've had all these other former players. Chris Harris was a huge, just absolute, just dynamite for us. About the time you don't think things are going to get better, they get better. And
yeah.
So kind of what Cody said for Austin with this, that takes me to tomorrow for Caleb.
Yep.
Right. So like we have Carl Pickens joining us tomorrow, volunteer legend, as Caleb says, Vol for Life or VFL.
Yes.
So what we're able to do is fun behind the scenes, but then you're going to get to see Caleb's reaction tomorrow when he gets to ask Carl Pickens all these Tennessee questions. And then what we're going to see next week when him trying to ask Derek Johnson, because I do know, obviously growing up, what Derek Johnson meant to him. And we have a cousin who's a huge DJ fan also. Mm-hmm. Like these guys were just straight up, Derek Johnson literally was everything to both of these guys. So, I have honestly no words on what it means. Outside of the fact of we get to do this for fun, guys. Like at the end of the day, this is our life.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because like you said, I kind of created like a DJ super fan group back home growing up, and people outside of it would be like, well, do you wish, because I was still kind of a quarterback hell for the Chiefs back in 2005, right? Like uncertainty. So everyone always asked me like, do you wish the Chiefs would have drafted Aaron Rodgers at 15? And it's no. Like, I don't care if we would have had a Super Bowl or one or two more Super Bowls to our name. It means we wouldn't have had DJ. I'm more than happy taking DJ number 15 in that draft. Like, Aaron Rodgers went to the Packers. I don't care. Give me DJ 12 days a week.
And I just want people to realize when we do things behind the scenes, it's a lot cleaner reactions on here. I can tell you guys. I can tell you guys that much. But I hope that goes to show everybody like the work that's actually being done. Because on top of this, we were already talking about season 2 and what we're trying to do there, which we'll talk about later tonight on here. But then you get to celebrate moments like this, and I'm actually stoked as hell to when Matt gets back.
Yeah,
because now Matt's gonna be like, what happened? What I miss? Because he's gonna have like 200 messages from us on top of probably all the other Patriot fans that were messaging him on TikTok, and then my brother's gonna get to say Derek Johnson's coming. So I hope that lights a fire under all of us that, what's not to say we can't get a Champ Bailey? What's not to say we can't get a Rod Smith, Charles Woodson, an Antonio Gates or Daniel Tomlinson? Like, I think for season 2, the expectation is going to be step the hell up. Like, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep doing this. I see Mama Williams in the chat. I don't know if Matt does know yet. And I'd kind of like to keep it a surprise if we can. I know that would be fun for you guys to let him know, but we'd like to tell him ourselves if that's okay. Just because he does mean so much to our show, and he obviously does a lot of shit for our show when he's here. So I'd like to get that, keep a secret until he gets back, and then let Austin get a chance to talk to him about it.
Yeah, about your clean reactions. I think Cody was starting to talk about something else in the chat, and I literally said, shut the F word up, Cody. Derek Johnson into the show. So that's what he means by cleaner. We keep it a little cleaner, but I think I was like, Cody, shut up, dude. This is my moment right now. Business can wait.
And that's totally fine with me, because I was as excited for you. Well, not as excited for you, because I know no one's more excited than you, but as excited as I can be for your podcast co-host and as your friend. I'm super stoked that you get to meet someone that meant a lot to you. I think that's more of a joy that I get to watch. So.
Absolutely. I'm actually, weird enough, I'm actually excited to hear more about the book. I know I'm just like him as a Chiefs fan, but like the book, the children's book that him and his wife wrote, I'd have to buy it on Amazon. And I got to tell you, I haven't read a book since like 7th grade. So I didn't want to spend
Which caused a heated debate in our group chat last night. Like, what?
Oh, yeah. Cody, never seen the movie Friday Night Lights, by the way, not to discredit this.
I know. And then spun a bunch of do I deserve to be a podcast host since I haven't watched the movie? By the way, I watched it that night, so
I haven't heard anything.
I watched it. I even started the show. The show's a bit slow, but I got to get a couple episodes into there. But it's kind of funny because episode 1 and 2 were almost rip for rip the movie, like almost beat for beat. There's really not a lot that's different. And so like when you texted me about somebody coming up short, I didn't know what you meant because I was kind of following along with the players, and I think you named the wrong player. So when I was like,
oh yeah, no, I said Billingsley.
Yeah, but it wasn't Billingsley. It was the quarterback.
Booby Miles. Oh,
no, not
Booby.
Booby.
Ask about Booby Miles, but that conversation went well over what I thought it would be, and they continued to go, and I'm like, what is going on right now? What did I just?
And because I was shamed so much, I watched it that night, and I did like it. It's a very, very good movie. I'd watch it again. I really liked it.
And Tim McGraw's in it.
Tim McGraw's is a SOB in that movie, man. I was like, it was hard to watch, and you forget, like, no, it's Tim McGraw. It's okay. But it was a good movie, though. It was a good movie.
Again, give the breaking news for those that just tuned in, and then we can get on to a shittier topic.
Yep. So those of you who didn't join right away, just broke the news that we have Chiefs legend Derek Johnson joining the War Room next Tuesday, February 3rd. He will be joining. The show will be going live 7 p.m. Central Time that night. That was the best time slot for him, so we're obviously going to make that work. But Chiefs legend, Texas legend, he might shoot me for that one. Longhorn legend and Chiefs Kingdom legend Derek Johnson.
Hook 'em.
Oh, I'm sure. Who's in your family is the Oklahoma's mom? Oh, Mama Shovik is probably. She's happy for you, but like I can't believe you're letting a Longhorn on the studio. So.
Well, she loves him too, but she's still going to tell him like Texas sucks or something, I'm sure.
Well, she did that to Quentin, I think, when we were recording. She did that.
We did say that to Quentin. Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Yeah, like no shame, but yeah. So Derek Johnson joins the War Room next Tuesday. Make sure to subscribe, tune in, join the chat, and honestly just hear like the wonderful stories. And he's done a lot of great things in general outside of football, so make sure tune in to hear that as well.
Did he cross over with Coach Vermeil?
No,
I didn't think so.
Coach Vermeil left, and then they drafted like Johnson that year.
He played with Quika Mitchell, right?
Yes.
Okay, that'll be very cool to hear their stories because I mean, obviously Mitchell went on to win a Super Bowl with the Patriots, but
I'll have to double check, but I do believe they did play a year together.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that was the news, you guys. Shout out to Austin for setting all that up. I can't wait for next week. And tomorrow we have Carl Pickens on, third time repeating guest, a buddy of the War Room. I'm excited for that as well. Carl Pickens will be on tomorrow live. So subscribe to the YouTube channel if you guys haven't already. A lot of things lined up, not only before this season is over, but for season 2. It's only getting hotter from here, boys. All right. Let's talk about a hot topic now, guys. The Denver Broncos fell short of the New England Patriots in the AFC West AFC Championship game. It was a snowy day in Denver, and Jarrett Stidham, was unable to bring the Broncos up. Jason Stidham. Stidham was unable to get the Broncos over the hump against the Patriots. Patriots are returning to the Super Bowl for the first time, I think, since 2019 when Tom Brady was their starting quarterback. Corey, what are your thoughts on the Broncos game, and what were some of the mistakes that led to the Broncos losing ultimately?
Yeah, Chiefs fans. Just want to say last time they were in the Super Bowl, they beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. So, again, suck a butt. And then my thoughts on the game are pretty simple. I mean, it comes down to two things. The first one was the fourth down when you go for it instead of kicking the field goal. I know you're trying to chase points and trying to go up 14 instead of 10. That was the first mistake. Second mistake was obviously when Jarrett Stidham tried to do whatever he was trying to do with that football. I know some people were like, it wasn't a fumble. It was a fumble. It's okay. Again, you can't make those mistakes in that kind of situation. If you guys recall during the pregame show, I told you guys the defense cannot make mistakes, or the offense can't make mistakes to put their defense in tough situations. And what they do, put their defense in a tough situation. They score 2 plays later on a Drake May QB draw. So that's the second mistake. Third mistake was the special teams. Again, I know the weather played a huge factor into this. It is what it is at this point. So again, I'm not that upset by this at all. I leave this game knowing that, again, that shows that Bo is our franchise quarterback. It shows that we have everything set for that. And I think, again, like the Bills game last year, I think some of the holes were exposed. So we get to see what happens this offseason and start making some moves.
Austin, what were your thoughts when you saw the Denver Broncos lose, unfortunately, and the Patriots, who you did not want to win, move on to the Super Bowl?
Well, my first thoughts were, like, I know they played some tough defenses, but, like, they've also played the, like, minor league quarterbacks along the way. Like, I think Stidham actually played better than Stroud, honestly. But my first takeaway was, like, y'all wanted the Chiefs and Taylor Swift gone so bad. Well, now you got the Patriots and Cardi B, so I just hope you're happy with yourselves. That was my first. Like, I didn't want either team to win, but, like, everyone who wanted the Chiefs gone, I hope you're happy that you got the Patriots back. So maybe just think about that next time.
Well, it was either that or Mahomes, and I think, you know, when you see Mahomes for the fourth year in a row, maybe bring back the Patriots, I suppose.
Nope. I think most people would still rather see the Chiefs over the Patriots. Now, obviously not on this show. I think everyone.
I'd rather see neither of them, if I'm being honest, but, you know, that's just me.
I think we're all just nobody wants Patriots. Nobody likes Boston sports. Nobody likes the Patriots. Just for me, I would have rather seen the Broncos, the Chargers, not the Raiders, than the Patriots.
Fair enough. Let me get our other compadre in here, Caleb. Caleb, what were your thoughts on the Broncos' loss to the Patriots? And by the way, I hate to bring this up. I almost feel like I do it every show. Patriots were the first team to eliminate your Chargers. So you know firsthand how tough this team is. So what were your thoughts when the Broncos were defeated by the Patriots?
Well, I thought the Broncos defense kept them in the game. I mean, they had chance to win the game. I think literally, like Corey was saying, that lateral pass, that's what lost them the game. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's what lost them the game. That and some missed field goals. Mm-hmm. Which the weather was not quite in their favor, that kind of thing. And one was blocked as well. But there were, you know, overall, I thought the Broncos played well enough to win that game, even with the mistakes from Stidham, mainly on the defensive side of the ball. Like, I was really, really impressed with the defensive side of the ball. I'm curious to see what happens with Vance Joseph after that game, because, I mean, they've been really good. And then as far as the Patriots go, their defense – really this postseason, they've surprised me more than I expected. They've been really good. I mean, they were playing against a backup quarterback, so I'll give them that there. And then C.J. Stroud as well. And Justin Herbert didn't have a good game when we played him either. So I mean, overall, that defense still has been really good. So overall, I thought the Broncos still played well enough to win that game. They just couldn't pull it out there at the end.
I think what's unfortunate is, obviously, like what Corey said, they left points on the field, and 3 points decided the game. You know, this going into overtime, who knows what happens. But I will say, one of the things watching this game that surprised me is how much the snow affected the Broncos team. It looked like more than the Patriots team. Now, granted, again, I know in Foxborough, it snows a lot over there. Denver, high altitude place, you know, Denver plays in the snow as well. Maybe it was just, I mean, it forecasted to be a clear day. Clearly it wasn't. Maybe Corey had mentioned on the pregame live show that it was a little bit of snow flurry. It shouldn't be anything too crazy. By the fourth quarter, it was a blanketed blizzard. So there wasn't, you know, any sort of flurries in the skies. It was just pure snow. But, you know, one of the things the Patriots did really well is running the football. And I think just to your point, Corey, you know, last week and, you know, during the live on TikTok, you pointed out there's just no run game. And one of the things that has always been something the Broncos have struggled with is that run game. Patriots had a 1-2 dynamo. Stevenson just obviously, he didn't average very many yards, but he was effective when he needed to be. And when it came to extending drives and just getting just enough yardage to extend, it's exactly what the Patriots did. And it's unfortunate because, listen, as much as I don't want either team to win, obviously I picked the Broncos on Sunday because I felt like they were the better team. And I'm not trying to say that there's any asterisk on the Patriots, but, no Bo Nix in the snow. I'm not saying that the Broncos win, but maybe it's a little bit different of a game. But again, Patriots move on. They are a hell of a team. I think this puts a lot of doubters quiet about like, hey, they're a for real team because, even on TikTok, they were saying this is a fraud bowl again. And, Patriots, for the most part, took care of business. I mean, they did what they're supposed to do. They'll meet the Seattle Seahawks, which we'll talk about in the next segment. But, the better team won on Sunday for better or for worse. And Corey, I got to ask you this follow-up. Obviously, there's big offseason questions to answer. What do you think the Broncos are going to do in the offseason to address some of their mishaps?
Yeah, so in-house, you have two big looming ones. That's Alex Singleton and John Franklin-Meyer. I know some said Justin Strnad's obviously a pending free agent as well. So I think he wants a starting job, and I just don't think that's going to happen with Denver right now. And then just listening to the end of season presser from Sean and George today, they're very aware that Russell Wilson dead cap's off the books. And to look at the success that they've had the last two seasons while eating almost $85 million the last 2 years in dead money with a not very good roster. Let's call it what it is. It's not a very good roster. It's an okay roster. It's off to them, but they have to be aggressive this offseason. I don't expect a ton of splash moves, but I do expect them to make a splash at running back and or tight end, and then maybe see what's available as far as receivers go. But I would look at running backs and tight ends as a possible splash factor.
Okay. I know that wide receiver was something that looked like was also apparent. Do you think that'll be a priority during the offseason?
Maybe. I mean, if you listen to George and Sean talk today, they love that room. They love the young guys they have, Pat Bryant, Troy Franklin, and Marvin Mims. And they still love Cortland Sutton, who obviously had the 8 drops this season. They fired their wide receiver coach, which we'll talk about here shortly. So we'll see what direction they go. But, I don't know quite yet how I feel or what I think that I want them to do. But if you ask me in a couple of weeks, I'll probably have a better idea of what I'm looking for and maybe which direction they're going, because I'll start talking to some of my other Bronco content creators and see what their thoughts are, and then we'll obviously bring you guys some of our thoughts as well.
Do you think this Bronco season was a success, even though maybe they didn't go they didn't go all the way?
100%. Once you get to that, again, Matt and we've stayed pretty consistent on what we've said. You win 14 games, you're the 1 seed, you win the division. Somewhat took advantage of the Chiefs being down. I told you guys last week, win or lose, this was a damn good season for the Broncos, and I stand by that. And I'm pretty confident with saying the Broncos can easily come back to the AFC Championship game next year.
All right, we're going to table that. We'll come back to a couple more conversations regarding coaching that does involve some Bronco coaches in a couple of segments from now. But we're going to move on to League Recon. We're going to talk about the Rival Codes Rivalry Game of the Week that we had said on Sunday morning pregame show, which is the Rams and the Seahawks. Seahawks outlasted the Rams. They are going to be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl to face the New England Patriots in a couple of weeks on Super Bowl Sunday. So, fellas, Caleb, I'll start with you. Obviously, the Seahawks outlasted the Rams. What do you think is next for Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, I mean, really, they're right there. I think they really just need to plug away and fill a couple positions. I think they need to shore up that secondary a little bit. That's my personal opinion. But man, touching on the game, what an incredible game. I mean, it was back and forth. It was a really, really good football game. And I'm a little excited because the Seahawks won, and I did pick them to win. I had to slide that in there, but overall, man, what an absolute game. I thought Sam Darnold played his butt off. Kubiak, incredible. I mean, gutsy play calls there at the end of the game. I was really impressed with how Sam Darnold handled the situation. I haven't seen him handle the situation quite like he did this weekend, and it kind of made me believe in the Ginger General a little bit, if I'm being honest with you. Because I don't know if you all remember last week, whenever we were doing the review show, I was like, I don't think he needs to throw the ball a lot. Like, I think that's how they win the game. But he ended up throwing the ball a lot and they won. So that caught me off guard and kind of shut me up a little bit.
Austin, what do you think is the future for Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford?
Matt Stafford is a little more probably up in the air, just depending if he wants to come back or not. I think Sean McVay, what's next for him is probably just the offseason. He's not going to go anywhere. I mean, he could flirt with retirement if he wants to again, but at the end of the day, Sean McVay, he'll probably have discussion with Stafford so he knows what his quarterback is going to look like, and then go through the offseason and probably come out and have one of the top offenses in the league again next year. That's probably just what's next. Stafford still looks really good. I know there's more to the decision than that, but just watching him, you're like, he absolutely. If Aaron Rodgers can hang on for a few years looking the way he is, Matt Stafford looks just fine.
Yeah.
But I think it just his decision. So we're not insiders. We don't have any of that information. I think Stafford comes back another year. Just they're going to have some more draft assets and a little better team. I think he wants one more Super Bowl. Again, with him, it depends how his body feels, though. Probably take some time. I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know if you guys saw that he got home at 2:30 in the morning, and there was the camera of him just going into his kid's room and just being a dad. And I'm like, it's so much more than football. Like, the dude just had absolutely. He balled out, by the way. So I'm like, none of this is on him, but immediately just went in there and just like hung out with his kid. I think is a daughter.
Daughters.
Yeah. And I'm like, I already loved Matt Stafford, but I don't know. I just thought that was really cool. But no matter who Sean McVay's quarterback is, what's next is probably just another elite offensive game plan.
Yep.
All right. Corey, what do you think is next for Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, I'm leaning. Matt Stafford will probably come back. I don't think he goes out that way. I think they like the team, the build. They know. We talk a lot about the playoffs will expose some of the holes you have, and we knew kind of going into the last couple of weeks of the season where the Seahawks holes were. You got to beef up the offensive line a little bit, and you got to get better on defense in certain spots. And I think they'll have the assets to do that this offseason. So I think as long as they can show Matt Stafford that they're willing to use those resources and get some of those holes at least fixed up, and they can at least beef up the offensive line just a tad bit, why not get the band back together for one more season and, go prove that, a lot of pressure is going to be on Seattle next year. Year 2, you don't know if Clint Kubiak's going to be back there or not. Go take it. I mean, you don't know what the 49ers are going to look like, and the Cardinals are the Cardinals. So you can, go flex your nuts one more time. And I think Stafford's going to be back, and he's going to be damn good at it.
Do the Rams, are they the one that have the Falcons the first round pick?
I believe so.
I was going to say they own the 13th pick, which I think was the Falcons from the trade that they had with them. So the Rams, even though that they got all the way to the NFC Championship game, they picked number 13 in the NFL draft. So
and still like 30th or whatever.
Yeah, yep. as opposed to 30th. Yeah, so they have a very good draft pick, all things considered, which means that, for skilled positions or offensive linemen, you get a young one at that 13 position, depending on what's out there. That could be pretty huge, or, maybe I don't know if there's a quarterback that they like in this draft, or maybe they wait one more year. But I think 13 in the first round is a very interesting draft pick to hold for the Rams and a very good value to have. Maybe they flip that for something else, or maybe they use it to draft young. So who knows? I agree. I think Stafford has at least one more year. Sean McVay, I think it's very interesting. It's been a while since I've seen Sean McVay this hungry and this animated on the sidelines or in press game conferences. So it's almost like we're seeing a new evolution of Sean McVay, where it's not so much of a even keel. We're actually seeing some passion, some energy from it. And I kind of like it. So I'm very curious on if that transitions over into the next season. I think they have Devontae Adams on a one more year and then a player option on that third year, because they signed him to a 3-year in this offseason. And then I think this is the offseason where Puka is going to get paid. So what is that going to look like? That's, how much salary cap are they going to use into that? I do think on their defense, they need to address some holes on, like, their cornerbacks need a little bit, their secondary needs a little bit more work. Linebackers are okay. I feel like their edge rushers kind of didn't really come alive in the championship game. I felt like that they weren't really a point of emphasis, or they didn't really get very many sacks. I think they went with no sacks throughout the whole playoffs. So that's kind of concerning if you have two of the top edge rushers and, they combined for, I think, 20 sacks, but neither of them had a sack in the postseason. So that's a little concerning. But I think Stafford will be back 1 year. I mean, 4,700 yards, 46 touchdowns. He played at an MVP level. I know we had a pretty heated conversation about this on Sunday, but I mean, he played as well as a quarterback can play at his age. Now, granted, in the offseason, like come training camp, there's always some like elbow issue, back issue. But I think if he gets that right at the regular season, the Rams could be a team that's very interesting. But they also were kind of dubbed as like the NFC favorite because, again, like I don't know how many more things they can do differently because of what this team is constructed. I feel like offensively they're great. Defensively, they fell off at the end of the season. So I feel like that's a big question mark is can they make it the entire season and not fall when it matters the most? Because, you guys actually pointed out that Carolina should have bounced them in the first round and they found a way. And, the Seahawks were the better team on Sunday. So, can the Rams pull it all together and get one more Super Bowl for Stafford retires? I think is probably the ultimate question. So,
they'll have to still give him money. Like he's not going to play on his current deal because I think he's still. But again, he's at that age. We'll see what they settle on with that. But they're going to have to give him some money to come back.
Yeah, I agree. And I know like the last offseason, there was rumors of him being traded. They kind of squashed all that. And who knows, maybe Stafford gives a little friendly of a deal for Puka and salary cap reasons. I'm sure they'll have to do some restructuring along the way. But the Rams have a very interesting offseason coming up with potentially losing both coordinators, maybe getting Raheem Morris back as their defensive coordinator, assuming if Chris Shula goes elsewhere, I think is a big question mark. So the Rams, they've probably got a bigger question mark to answer than the Broncos at this point, I would say. Most of their team, if it stays on board, that is.
They have a lot more, I hate saying it but they have a lot more older key players than the Broncos do, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Broncos are more set. Like they've paid their dudes. They're young, rookie quarterback contract. Like they are set better long term than the Rams. But I think Rams, as long as it's Stafford and McVay, like short term, as long as one or both of them are there, they're going to be one of the NFC favorites.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it just like what we were talking about with quarterback and head coach tandems. It's more or less of like when you get into the postseason, how far are they going to go? Yep. I think that's the bigger question is I think we can agree that McVay with Stafford and this team currently, they're a wild card team at minimum. Maybe they're one seed depending on how records fall. But when you get in the playoffs, can you outlast your opponent, which Seahawks were just the better team, just top down. And we're actually going to get into the next question about their defense. But I think that's where we get in the question of what are the Rams going to do to address what their shortcomings are to outlast the Seahawks if there was another go around next season. And, I think that's the bigger question. And like Detroit Lions last year, they got as far as they can go and then even make the playoffs this year. Are they going to be similar where maybe they're not going to get as far? So I think that those are just questions when a team gets as far as the Rams do, can they repeat it? So
well, buckle up because they play the AFC West next year. So
and I'm going to use your words against you.
Okay.
When referencing if they're going to be like the Lions or not, I just trust Sean McVay and Matt Stafford a little bit more than Jared Goff and Dan Campbell. Like, is there a possible Chiefs fall off because things happen?
Sure.
Of course there are. But if it's McVay and Stafford as a combo next year, I don't think whatever they do with their roster, I think you were spot on. At minimum, they're a wild card team.
Right.
Just plain and simple. I don't think there's any Lions things. There's not a Lions fall off, a Chiefs fall off. Like McVay and Stafford are 1, 2, maybe 3 as far as quarterback head coach combos go.
Yeah. I'm proud of you, Austin. You're catching on.
No, I agree. I like defense more, which is
No, I know you're
which is
all
why I
about
like
defense.
Seattle, and transition into the next topic.
Exactly. So I'll actually lead it off with you then, because you've been singing Seattle's praises about their defense, I would say, for a majority of the year. I mean, it's been not the full season, but it's been a large portion of it. So did Sunday's game against the Rams confirm that this Seattle's defense is the real deal to you?
I would actually say it actually put in a little more concern to me than it did. The Rams, as average as their offensive line was, actually held up against that pass rush pretty well. Pretty well. And again, I know Puka and Devontae, it's kind of unfair, but we're talking about JSN and Cooper Kupp, and on their own side. Opposite. So they're going to go Patriots, but yeah, they were playing. Who are the Rams? Oh yeah, Nakua and Adams. Like, those aren't fair. Like, those aren't easy matchups, but their corners didn't look as great as I thought. Reek Woolen had some dumb plays, turned around, and then again got roasted. Again, it's Puka Nakua. It happens. It's Puka Nakua. But I think the biggest concern was that pass rush. Like, Matt Stafford is old as he is. Like, he's been hit a lot. He was hit a lot last week, whether it was sacks or not. They didn't get after the quarterback very well. And that's a huge part of where their defense starts. And I think without that pass rush, that defense looked kind of average. They stepped up when they had to. They stopped that fourth down in the red zone. But I'm a little more concerned now than I was before, because it all starts with the pass rush.
Try telling you guys that Matt Stafford had almost 500 yards against these guys the last time they played, and he had almost 400 this time around. So again, this is Matt Stafford. This isn't Drake May. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, no, I'm talking that we're not going predictions yet.
No, we're not, but just saying.
Corey's just letting you know. Corey, then I'm curious then, is this Seattle defense the real deal, or do you think they got exposed?
No, they'll be fine. Again, it's a division rival that knows you. It's the third time you played against them. They know what your defense is trying to do in certain situations. Yeah, I mean, you should have expected a game like this, because, again, it's the third time you played against them. You can only do so much, right? New looks, you can only do certain things. And no, none of this surprised me. And yeah, no, this defense is going to be just fine in the Super Bowl.
And I did have one more thing to say, because I wanted to piss Caleb off. It's about time people start saying Nick Eamon-Warry is the best safety in football. I'll sit on that right now.
Over Derwin James, huh?
Crazy.
I saw the Derwin James thing hanging up. I'm not saying Derwin James is bad, but Nick Eamon-Warry, he's a rookie, and he was out. I mean, he was a huge reason that defense actually played as decent as they did. He was covering dudes in the slot. He was playing center field. He was up there playing linebacker some, and he was making play after play after play. And that's just as a rookie. Like, nailed that draft pick. I think he was a second rounder.
Yep.
Yeah, a second round pick. He'll be an all-pro next year.
Caleb, don't take that shit from him. You better come back with something.
He was like, he agrees.
No, I will say, Eamon-Warry, like, I don't have anything to knock on him. I still got to put Derwin above him, man. Derwin just does so much.
Well, that in his Derwin's body of work, I mean, I'm sure that this new safety is making great headways his rookie year, but Derwin James has been doing it for a long time. So
his time's over.
That's bold. So Drake May is better than Patrick Mahomes
as this year? Yeah.
No. You're saying just in general for what's his?
Drake May hasn't even looked good though. That's in the playoffs. That's not even. Nick Eamon-Warry has looked good in the playoffs. He's stepping up when it matters.
I'm trying to fight for you, Caleb. It ain't working. I just don't. I need you to fight for your mans.
No, yeah. Any day of the week, I'm fighting for Derwin. I mean, he's my favorite player. I think Derwin just does so much. Obviously, I don't want to get away from the Seattle talk, but I could go on and on about this probably. But I think Derwin just does so much too. And he's been, like Cody was saying, he's done it for so long. I mean, the way he rushes the passer, I think that's where he's got Eamon-Warry, is rushing the passer. I think that's where he's got the biggest jump.
Aside from that, what do you think of the Seattle's defense going against the Rams, and how did they look to you on Sunday?
Yeah, overall, I will say that near the last drive of the game, I think it might have been the last drive of the game, Cody and Corey, both of you guys put it in our group text that I don't know why they quit going away from the Rams, quit going to the running backs, because it seemed like Seattle was not stopping the running backs. Like, I mean, it was like check down, check down, check down, check down. And then they started running fade, like Devontae Adams fade routes. Mm-hmm. But they've seen that on film. Seattle overall, I think they're going to be fine. I guess in short, the Patriots offense is not the same caliber as the Rams, personally. I don't think the Patriots are going to be able to move the ball very well, personally. Really how they've moved it so far in the playoffs is running the ball, and I don't think they're going to be able to do that as effectively against that Seattle defense as they have been otherwise. And I don't know that they can keep up points-wise, if you know what I mean. I think they will have to throw the ball more. Just to keep up. Yeah. No, I'm not hiding anything there.
I think what's interesting is, and you just pointed it out, Caleb, very poignantly, is the Rams went away from the run game. They went away from going to Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams, 10 rushes, 39 yards. And I feel like he had a lot of momentum heading his way. And maybe it was because in the second half, the Rams fell behind and they felt like that they had to play catch up. Because honestly, when they were going back and forth in the third quarter, it felt like the fourth quarter. And it just felt like that the Rams were not playing the game plan that got them to this point in the first half. First half, it felt like they were pretty balanced. Yep. You know, they were able to spread the ball around a little bit. And it just, for some reason, in the second half, once Seattle got that 14-point lead on them from some turnovers and some long drives, just the Rams just kept playing from behind. And, you know, Stafford throwing it 35 times. That's hard. And I think, you know, very much like what we talked about with the Broncos in the first segment, which is, you know, they're not a very good run team and they go away from the run. And here's the Patriots just absolutely obliterating the run. And Kenneth Walker III, 19 rushes by himself. And the Rams as a team had 22. So right there, Seattle was more committed to running that ball to make sure there was a balanced offense. And you felt that the Seahawks were far more balanced. And they only gave up 3 sacks for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold almost threw for 400 yards by himself, no turnovers, which was a heck of a performance by him. But you can also say that starts with the run game, and the Rams just went away from that. Like, I felt like during that final drive, and, you know, you pointed this out, Kyren Williams should have been more of a presence on there. I felt like getting him some checkdowns, getting him some wheel routes when the linebackers on him would have maybe opened up that offense a little bit more. And Sean McVay, I don't want to say called a predictable offense, but you can just tell that they were looking to go to Devontae Adams like almost every other play, or Puka, which, you know, he caught a hell of a pass at the end of the game, but unfortunately he fell inbounds because, I mean, that was a great catch, but, you know, when he landed inbounds, obviously game's over. That would have been their only shot, but even still, they were struggling to get down the field because Seattle was just clamping down on Puka and Adams in that final part. So Seahawks, I think, are a very interesting defense. I don't want to go as much as saying that they're going to lock down the Patriots, though, because Patriots offense, I was saying, was going to get locked down by the Broncos, and not that they went all out and had a great game. I mean, they just ran the ball effectively. And unfortunately, Caleb, with your Chargers, I thought that the Chargers were going to pretty much mute them. They pretty much had a comfortable game. It seems like every time the Patriots get counted out offensively, they find a way. And I'm not going to go into predictions or anything. I think this matchup is a little bit more even than people are giving its respect to. But the Seahawks, though, I think have the better of the two defenses, and we'll find out on Sunday or, you know, in a couple of Sundays if that's true or not. But I feel like this is a little bit more even match than people are giving some respect to, I'll say.
Okay.
Cool.
We'll talk about it when we do it.
Cool. All right, Austin's aerial attack is the next segment up. Austin, what was the best defense during the championship round?
Yeah, I'm going to go to an individual just because I think it could easily go, if we're talking units, it could have gone to Denver or New England. I think both of the units themselves played worthy, but I'm going to go with Christian Gonzalez. He got roasted deep early on that Marvin Mims play. Again, I think it was a blown zone behind him, but it'll still go against him, so deal with it. But he ended up still having a sack and then obviously caught the interception to end the game. So I think after that, he locked in, had a sack, sealed the game with an interception. We've always known him as a top corner, but I think these playoffs are people are starting to see him a little more. So Christian Gonzalez is my aerial attack defender of the week.
It's a very good one. He did bounce back pretty well against the Broncos after that blown coverage. So yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. You guys are game faces are on, I can tell. All right, everyone. Caleb's Counterstrike. Caleb, who was all bark and no bite? Is that how it goes?
All hype.
All hype, no bite. Go ahead, Caleb.
So my team my team that's all hype, no bite. I'm going to go a little unconventional. I'm going to say it's the Buffalo Bills. The reason I say that is they fire Sean McDermott, and then they hire within after having a terrible, horrible post-season presser, whatever you want to call that. So I really hiring within right there, I think that's a terrible mistake. The reason I say that, I like Joe Brady, don't get me wrong, but you fire the guy for not winning games, but he was his offensive coordinator. So it's like, I don't know that you're really improving anything there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but they're my Counterstrike this week. I just think that organization right now is doing some crazy stuff, and they've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you know what? Joe Brady was one of the head coach candidates for the Raiders for a while, basically since the end of the season. So I was also just as curious as to the promotion of him being the head coach, considering they moved off to Sean McVay. And maybe the press conference didn't help that no valid head coach really wanted to go there. And their only options were basically Brian Dable and then Joe Brady. So I found it interesting when the Bills decided to go with Joe Brady. And it's like, I knew that we were wondering if they're going to be a playoff team with their new head coach. And now I wonder, what are they going to actually be with Joe Brady as the head coach? Corey, what are you thinking about Caleb's Counterstrike?
Yeah, again, I've said it on the lives as well about what you're seeing from the Patriots has the Bills freaking out, and they're making terrible decisions just based on they're making desperate moves. And we talked last week about you can't be an owner and a GM and come out and start throwing people under the bus, right? You throw a young player under the bus, you throw a coach under the bus. That sends a wrong message to potential people that come there, because what's not to say that something similar happens next year? Are you going to throw me under the bus? Is it all of a sudden my fault when I'm getting basically handed this franchise with what it has? Or, just that. So love to see it. I truly do. It's hilarious. And yeah, you thought the Browns were terrible. The Bills are right there with how they're handling all this.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to foreshadow too much because we got the coaches segment coming up as well. So Corey, it is now time for your crossfire. I'm very curious because you have in the notes here a surprise. So what is your crossfire this week?
Yeah. So I just said the Bills are turning into the Browns. Brown fans, come on and have a seat. You literally have a franchise that no one wants to coach your goddamn team. First off, Shedeur Sanders in the Pro Bowl. Let's just quit playing the Pro Bowl game now. So let's just go ahead and throw the Pro Bowl game away. It was already asked to begin with. Now you're throwing Shedeur Sanders as a Pro Bowl out there. So let's go ahead and just not play the Pro Bowl. But again, you've interviewed so many coaches, and like half of them have already said, "Nah, we're withdrawing. We'd rather go be an offensive coordinator for a different team than be a head coach of your franchise, or we'd rather just not be there and still be looking for work." So what the Browns are trying to do is questionable. I'm not sure what the Browns are really trying to do here. But you have some pretty prominent offensive-minded coaches who opted to stay with their current team just to stay as an OC for one more year instead of coaching a franchise who, Cody, I know that the Raiders continue to fire coaches after one season, but at least with the Raiders, you can look and say the Raiders might actually have a direction they're going right now. I look at the Browns and I'm not sure I know exactly which direction they're trying to go with their franchise. Again, you should have probably already had your head coach by now. Now you're going to get into this situation where unless that Rams passing game coordinator wants to take that chance, I think they're going to force him into keeping Jim Schwartz as a D coordinator, and that's not really setting a good tone for your young offensive coach. So I think you may have to settle for Jim Schwartz being your head coach. And again, it's that endless cycle of the Browns just doing what Browns do. And we'll probably be sitting here again next offseason, heading into the offseason of, holy shit, what are the Browns doing with their life? Because they might already probably fire another head coach and go on winning another 3 or 4 games. So again, it's the gift that keeps on giving. And I think it takes a lot of meaning when Matt says he's literally taking the Browns to the Super Bowl, because that's exactly how their organizations ran from top to bottom.
Yeah. And what's funny is the only thing that I find comfort in being a Raiders fan and having a disappointing season, firing another coach, is at least we're not the Browns, because they are still, ironically enough, they're still worse. And to your point, Corey, I saw something on ESPN where their GM that's conducting the interviews is doing like analytical puzzles that he wants the potential coaches to do. And there's been reports of like, it's a strange interview process that's unorthodox, and they're so analytical. It's almost like maybe they're letting their guy walk out the door because they're overthinking it or trying to outsmart themselves. And it's like, man, the Browns would be the kind of team that puts themselves in this kind of pickle to not find their coach. And yet there's a plethora of coaches to choose from. And yet they're, again, one of the teams that don't have one. Man, Browns fans.
Well, and it sucks because they have a young offensive talent. Like, they have some young players on both sides of the ball as well. And then obviously Myles Garrett. So he's going to continue to not win the Super Bowl or win games because, again, even if you think he is the MVP, he's not winning games for that team himself. So you're wasting a good young tight end, good young running back. I still don't know what the hell Shedeur Sanders is. And you're obviously going to stunt. And you're honestly going to stunt what you do with him with how you're handling and who knows what the next head coach is going to want to do with Shedeur. So again, is that part of the deal of you come here, you're going to coach this kid up? Okay, maybe that's not appealing to them. So again, man, I have no more words, and I'm really hoping this is the last time I have to mention the Browns on this show.
Poor Dylan Gabriel, man. He's just a guy that's forgotten. He was their 3rd round pick, and their 6th round pick is overshadowing him. But seem
Dylan
like
Gabriel's just as much ass as Shedeur Sanders is, so it's not like.
But Shedeur Sanders is a Pro Bowler at least, which is weird to say.
I'll wash my mouth. Never mind.
Yeah, who would have thought we would have like turned on sports today to hear Shedeur Sanders is a Pro Bowler and Bill Belichick is not a Hall of Famer? Like, who would have
on the
thought?
same day? The same day.
It's world. It really is an upside down world. Like, Stranger Things is just making an impact.
That's right. We are in the upside down right now.
Yeah, no sense. It's everything stupid.
All right, Austin, I'm going to kick it back over to you because your comrade Matt is not here with us. Of course, he is out on duty right now, so he'll be back next week. But special teams of the week, who do you have as your special team of the week?
Yeah, I thought the special teams units themselves weren't too bad this week. Rams did okay. They're usually the ones who blow it.
Well, they did have that muff.
Yeah,
they did have that muff.
That got him. I think that gave the Seahawks the extra possession. They scored immediately after that.
Xavier Smith or something like that?
Something Smith.
Yeah.
We won't know who he is much longer.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, no. That is true.
They went muff diving.
They did. I was going to say the Patriots just because they blocked a field goal, which obviously proved very beneficial for them. So I guess if we're going to do it, the special teams hero, whoever blocked the kick for the Patriots, we'll just go Patriots field goal block unit. And then the 0 is obviously the Smith dude who did fumble. That's not the Rams get like if the Rams just figure out special teams, they probably have like 3 more wins on the year.
Yep.
Honestly, between all the muffs and blocks, and I mean they lost to the Eagles because they gave up the block touchdown to Jordan Davis.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think in general we can probably just say the Rams special teams themselves are just
0.
cheeks. Yeah. 0. That's right. Let's stick to the second names.
They're puns.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll go Rams, the muffed punt as a 0, and Patriots field goal block unit.
Hey, Matt's here. Hold on.
Hey.
Do we tell Matt?
Yes.
Cody, do you still have that banner?
I do. Matt, if you're watching, bud, we have a surprise for you. Let me go over here and find it now. Hold on. I was not. Matt, we have a surprise for you, buddy.
Breaking news. If Cody would hurry.
Here we go.
Hey. Breaking news, Matt.
Breaking news, Matt. If you can see it.
I hope you'll be back.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I didn't even think about that. I hope he's back.
He goes, will I like this? Well, I hope you.
So.
Yeah, did you see it?
It's beneficial to the war room.
He's probably like, what?
Nice.
Like,
there he goes.
Yeah, he's like, who?
Who's Derek Johnson?
Never heard of her.
Miss you, Matt.
Oh, Matt dropping in. I'll be back this Friday. Oh, cool. So it looks like he'll be able to make it. Nice. We'll be full, you guys.
Our hearts will be full.
So Derek Johnson joining us next Tuesday
with the full squad.
Yeah. For those of you who didn't join, Derek Johnson, Chiefs legend, Longhorn legend, joins next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. All right. Now for the fan question of the day.
We do have a fan question of the day.
This was brought to you by our TikTok Live, Brody, a.k.a. Goldfish. That's at least how we recognize him. He asked, does Josh Allen win a Super Bowl the same way Matthew Stafford did, which is by being traded to a new team? Austin, what do you think?
I love that question. And I actually think after this next season, Josh Allen gets traded to the Rams. So I'm going to say it's exactly like Matt Stafford.
Sir, I beg your pardon. You said next season he'll be traded to the Rams, Josh Allen?
After this following season. So he'll have one more disappointment with Buffalo.
Okay.
Matt Stafford will have one last ride into the sunset with the Rams. Then the Rams literally sell their farm for Josh Allen.
To win 3 games.
I don't know if I think that's crazy or that like makes too much sense for it not to be true.
It's crazy.
So to answer Brody's question, exactly like Matt Stafford.
Exactly like to the team even. Caleb, What are your thoughts about this crazy thought? Do you think this is something that will happen in order for Josh Allen to win a Super Bowl?
Caleb's got to worry about his own quarterback. Because the same thing can be said about Justin Herbert, too.
I knew it was coming. I knew it. But I will say, I think he does have to get traded in order for him to win a Super Bowl. I mean, Joe Brady could come in there and be incredible, but I don't think anything really changes, if I'm being honest with you. So I think it's another 5 years before they take another step from where they were at personally. I think he goes somewhere else in order for him to win a Super Bowl.
So you think Josh Allen will stick around for another 5 seasons? So that'll be year 11?
I don't think he will. Okay. I would say it's at least 5 seasons before they're able to make it to that next step from where they were at, I guess.
That would be at the end of Joe Brady's contract because I think he just signed a 5 year. So
he did. And that would put Josh Allen at age 35.
And in 4 years, Allen's contract is up 2030.
I bet it's super expensive.
Bye, Matt.
Bye, Matt. See you, buddy. Be safe, please.
See you, Matt.
Wow. So this is an interesting question. Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he goes to the Rams, but I do think at some point he would get traded away to win a Super Bowl. I don't have a specific team in mind right now. But I do think it is sooner rather than later. I don't think it'll be this offseason, of course. But I think if you have another season like this one, next season, then I think things get a little spicier. And we see what happens. I think I said on the TikTok live earlier, 2 or 3 years. We'll see how it goes, possibly. But yeah, it's not going to happen with the Bills. Not with how they're ran right now. Get Josh Allen the hell out of there.
You know, I bring that hot take though.
Go Broncos. Hi, Amanda.
Boo.
Go Broncos.
Man, this is a great question. I think it's very similar to you, Corey. Like, okay, don't have a specific team. Do I think he'll get traded? I do think that Josh Allen will be traded from the Bills in some way. And I think it would be because he wants to go to a place that's competitive and ready to win a Super Bowl. Because I don't know in 5 seasons if the Bills are, and I don't know if Josh Allen wants to waste the rest of his prime on the Bills trying to get it right when they were kind of knocking on the doorstep. And now it seems like they're starting over is what it kind of feels like. But I don't know what team in, say, 3 years that maybe is on the doorstep and then really need a Josh Allen to get out there. Like, if Josh Allen's up for sale, then hey, Raiders, let's get a couple of picks over there and see if we can make a deal over here. But that doesn't mean that we're going to win the Super Bowl. That would just be an exciting quarterback addition. So I don't know, like, what team, like San Francisco, maybe if they're desperate and they're like one quarterback away, maybe that makes a lot of sense. And since, Josh Allen's from California, the Rams, though, is a very interesting one because the Rams have already shown a lack of care for their picks. I think this is the second year that they've had a first-round pick because prior to that, they would trade them all away. And a lot of that was because they got Matthew Stafford and some other pieces. But, man, I do think that Josh Allen does not win a Super Bowl with the Bills at all. I think it has to be somewhere else. But what team would do that? I don't know, man. It seems like that teams don't win the Super Bowl by trading for a quarterback like the Rams did. I feel like the Rams were just in a situation where the stars aligned, and I just don't see that happening again for a player like Josh Allen. Like, I don't know. And someone put in the comments here, Steelers, and that's interesting, but I don't know if the Steelers have any pieces to make that happen.
Well, I think you eliminate the AFC. If the Bills trade him, it's not AFC.
Sure. I agree with that.
Unless a team is like, dude, we'll give you our next 3 first, 3 second, 3 third. You know what I mean?
Like the Ricky Williams trade where you trade every pick in that current draft.
Yeah. So I think you eliminate the AFC.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's make this super spicy real quick.
Ooh.
Like extra spicy, like super hot. Who gets traded first, Justin Herbert or Josh Allen, and which one wins the Super Bowl first?
Shit.
I think Josh Allen.
Caleb, you go first.
Oh.
Caleb, you go first.
Oh, okay. I think Josh Allen goes first personally. The reason I say that organization's just kind of in shambles. We at least have Jim Harbaugh. He's been consistent the past 2 years he's been there. So at least we have a little more consistency at this point. The Bills, I'm not sure. I think getting Mike McDaniel is going to be a big thing for us. So personally, I'm not saying we win it this year or anything like that, but I am
anytime soon.
You never know. You never know.
I do know. I can say that. I'll say that confidently.
Okay, so Caleb, you're saying that Justin Herbert will win a Super Bowl before Josh Allen?
Yes.
Okay, now I have a follow-up question. Will that be on the Chargers?
Yes, he'll never get traded.
You don't think he'll ever get traded?
He'll never get traded.
You gotta look at it from a business sometimes, Caleb.
I'm just telling you, he'll never get traded. They will not trade him.
I'm sure the Bills said the same thing.
I mean, we've only had like 5 starting quarterbacks in over my lifetime.
That's fair.
I think
you're young. You're young.
They did stick with Phillip Rivers.
I'm almost 30.
Yeah, they stuck with Rivers, who never won anything, so it makes sense.
All right, Austin.
No,
yeah, everyone's. I'm so sorry, Caleb. Didn't mean for this to beat you up, but okay, Austin. So, what happens first? Twofold, like what Corey said. Who gets traded first, Josh Allen or Justin Herbert, and who wins the Super Bowl first? If either one of them win one,
Josh Allen gets traded first, and Josh Allen wins the Super Bowl first.
Caleb or Corey, I think I know your answer, but go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, I kind of want to make it spicy, but I don't, because I don't want it to sound like I don't want to take credibility away from our show. So I'm going to kind of keep it. I think Josh Allen does get traded, and I do think he wins the Super Bowl first, and we'll just leave it at that.
I think Josh Allen would get traded first because I agree with Caleb. Justin Herbert isn't going anywhere, but I don't think that means that Justin Herbert wins the Super Bowl first. I think Justin Herbert would, if he stays at Chargers, I unfortunately think that it will unfold very similar to Phillip Rivers, where close but not getting there. I think Josh Allen, if he goes to a team that is a contender, I feel like he would win the Super Bowl. But, and you mentioned about Harbaugh, I think that another conversation next season, and I'm going to add some extra spice to this conversation, where I think next season there's going to be a conversation if Harbaugh is going to be the guy for the Chargers, because 2 seasons in a row, they still haven't gotten past the wild card. And Harbaugh was kind of known for not getting the Niners over the hump. I know his final season, they just were a complete letdown. Is that the same fate with Harbaugh for the Chargers? I think next season, if he doesn't get them further in the wild card in the divisional round or any victories, I think that becomes another question as well.
I love how the Josh Allen hate has completely turned to shitting on the Chargers.
We're going to watch Fernando Mendoza win a championship before Justin Herbert. Or win we won't even go that far. We'll see Fernando Mendoza win a playoff game before Justin Herbert.
That's wild.
That is wild, because I have to believe then the coach will be right and Mendoza will be the guy. So, and I'm still not sold.
I'm sorry.
Oh man, that was a really good spicy take that you had there for us, Corey. That was really, really good. Sorry, Caleb. I think we were a little rough on you.
They hate us because they ain't us.
That's not true.
I don't want to beat you guys at all. Literally none whatsoever. Even Cody's shit franchises won a Super Bowl in his lifetime.
Okay. All right. We got to get back on track. All right.
We still love you, Caleb.
Yeah, still love you, buddy.
Sure.
Okay. Ironically enough, the next question is for you.
No.
So Mike McDaniels made it official in a very interesting TikTok video that went live that he is the new Chargers OC. Caleb, how are you feeling about this official news for your Chargers?
Oh, I'm ecstatic. I think this is hopefully a step in the right direction, at least for our offense. I think the way he approaches the run game and other things like that, I know we've talked on this before, but the way he approaches the run game, I think that changes our offense as a whole. The way he changes the blocking scheme, as well as like all the other things. I mean, what he was able to do with Tua, not trying to throw shade, but like what he was able to do with Tua, I can only hope that that's going to elevate Justin Herbert's game. I think I'm super ecstatic for it, though. I'm overly excited, and he's the guy I was wanting from day one. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Before I get the Shoviks in, I think what makes this interesting is McDaniel is known to run a fast offense.
Yep.
I'm curious how much say that he'll have to bring in some fast guys and how that offense is going to look, which is, I don't want to say opposite of what Harbaugh does, but Harbaugh is more of a ground and pound, slower, methodical offense, and McDaniels is more of like a Madden, all go type of guy. So I think this is going to be a very interesting clash of styles. Maybe it'll work out for Justin Herbert, but I'm curious to see what McDaniels makes this offense look like. So, Austin, what are you thinking?
I think it'll probably result in the same thing it always does for the Chargers. They'll do just enough to be considered okay and then accomplish nothing by the end of the season. I don't think that changes too much. I do think offensively it could make them dangerous if Harbaugh gives up the reins a little bit to where they can actually become give you different looks, right? They can come at you with the ground and pound like you were saying, or we can do McDaniel's fast, speedy, good luck keeping up with this kind of offense. But I think in the grand scheme of things, again, I'm going to continue saying this for as long as we've done this show and as long as I've been alive, until the Chargers prove that they aren't going to Charger. That is going to be my end result for them, no matter what they do.
All right, Corey.
I love the hire But if you guys were shooting for two of the weirdest coaches in the NFL, you got both of them.
That is a fact.
These are two weirdos in a sense of, I don't know how much I can actually listen to both of them talk. They just go so off the rails with what they say. And I'm kind of just like, are you guys on crack? Like, are you guys? So McDaniel's sharing some old cannabis with Jim's going to be very interesting in some of those takes that those guys have. But no, I do like the hire. I do want to see. I think they're going to still run the football the same. I think I did hear McDaniel say that he loves that Jim's willing to see that the NFL's innovated, like the innovation of the run game, the elevation of the run game, evolution of the run game. So I think he's going to give him a little say on how that goes. Does this worry me? No, not really. Because again, now the flip side of this is you lose Jesse Mentor. So I want to see what you guys do defensively, because just because you got the guy on offense, you lost a damn good defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. And we've seen how important defensive coordinators are in the NFL, especially for a team like this. Look at the Ravens first. They lose their defensive coordinator, a la Mike McDonald, and that defense went to complete shit. The Jets with Robert Saleh, which I fought somebody on TikTok live on that. Idiot. But so again, in the long run, cool, but don't let this affect the other side, because then you could have a different conversation of, yes, our offense is where we want it, but now all of a sudden we're giving up 25, 30 points a game and we're losing to the Raiders every season. So let's see how it goes.
And to the last point, we're going to go on to the Broncos, but I feel like if there was ever a OC that was available to give Justin Herbert a shot to get rid of the nomer that he doesn't play in big games or he's not going to win a playoff game, I'm very curious to see how this offense will look. But very much like what Corey said, two of the weirdest coaches you could have found in the NFL, you put them in one team. Is that going to be successful or not? So I think that's very interesting. Caleb, you're going to have a very interesting offseason, my friend.
Absolutely. Hard Knocks. I'm telling you, it's where Hard Knocks is going to be.
There are going to be so many one-line.
Isn't there a Hard Knocks like curse or whatever?
There would be some good one-liners on that one. I do that.
All right.
There would be some wild ones.
Corey, let's show you some love in the Broncos. So Sean Payton has fired offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi and also the wide receiver coach. And it is rumored that it is making way for Davis Webb to be promoted as OC. What are your thoughts on the coaching moves, and are you liking what's going on in the coaching staff?
Yeah, no, the OC is long overdue. I thought it should have happened after last season, and I thought Davis Webb should get promoted last offseason to OC. I do think it comes down to now Davis Webb says head coach for a Raiders organization who fires coaches after 1 year, or stay consistent with the quarterback I know and trust, and possibly be a head coach in waiting for the Broncos in 2 or 3 years. I love this move. I really do. And I won't go deep into it, but I do think play calling is going to be involved with this. It's like a smidge. So it'll be very interesting to see. As far as wide receivers coach, the numbers speak for itself on that end. The cornerback coach did surprise me a little bit. So I want to see really, I'm going to keep very, very close eye on what the cornerback coach ends up being, just based on we have a defensive player of the year at one corner. Riley Moss was probably one of our most improved players on defense. And then my boy J-Mac, sign J-Mac, do whatever it takes to sign J-Mac to an extension, keep him, and then let's just see. But yeah, not surprised at all by the OC move. It's just 1 year late, in my opinion.
Do you think that you guys are going to lose Vance Joseph, or do you think he returns?
No, I think he comes back, and I think Jonathan Cooper may have given that away in his yesterday's presser, but he kind of stopped himself short of it. I thought the only job that there was 2 jobs I thought VJ would go for, and that's the Dolphins and the Cardinals. Dolphins got it wrong on their head coaching hire by taking Packers defensive coordinator. I love this. Go ahead, Dolphins, make your mistake. Cardinals are going to make a mistake unless they get Kubiak, which I don't think they will. People saying Raheem Morris for the Cardinals, but again, that's just shit organization too. So they don't know they can't be ran well. So don't put VJ in that situation. VJ is going to be a head coach. I have no doubt in my mind. But if that means I get VJ for one more season, 100% give me VJ all day.
Yeah. If you guys lost him, I'd be curious who you guys would replace him with, because I feel like
Jim Leonard, it wouldn't even be a debate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Pardon me. All right.
Which sucks because we're about to lose him to the Bills, and that's going to piss me off. But again, you take what you get, right?
Yeah.
Not the Bills.
All right. So then the final one, we talked about this a little bit, where Eric Bieniemy is back with the Chiefs. I feel like that this one, and again, I think I'm just speaking because as an outsider, again, my team doesn't even have a head coach right now. So I'm really just a spectator at this point. But I feel like this is kind of a pretty big deal for the Chiefs and the AFC West to potentially get back on track, because the Matt Nagy offense didn't seem to work very well, and Eric Bieniemy was missed. So Austin, I know that you were giving some excitement when we talked about it in our last week's episode. So do you still share that same optimism about Eric Bieniemy?
Do you shit?
Quite often, actually. What was the actual question? I lost it.
Let me rephrase it. Are you still optimistic about Eric Bieniemy returning to the Chiefs?
I'm not even optimistic. I'm just saying it's the best hire. It's a better hire for the team than it like McDaniel to the Chargers.
See, I was going to say that Dan, and that's why I didn't want to, because I was afraid he may say that, but I was going to say this was a better hire
for the Chiefs. I'm not saying he's a better offensive coordinator than McDaniel.
I am.
But he's going to mean more to the Chiefs than I think McDaniel does to the Chargers.
So you're saying that Eric Bieniemy coming back to the Chiefs is a bigger move than Mike McDaniel going to the Chargers?
It's going to have a bigger impact. It absolutely will.
Unfortunately, it's for the other teams in the division.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, as a spectator, I don't even have a head coach, and yet Eric Bieniemy's back now with the Chiefs. This isn't great.
It wasn't even official, and you saw the Chiefs dude like Travis Kelce, Chris Jones doesn't even play offense. How excited they were to have him back, and it goes to the thing is you hate to see it, but I think they did get a little lackadaisical. They weren't pushed the same. Matt Nagy is softer than Charmin. So nobody was held accountable. Nobody was pushed. I don't know if you've ever seen the video of Eric Bieniemy coaching Adrian Peterson.
Loved it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the Chiefs have been missing. So he's going to hold people accountable. He's going to push everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. He might even do it to some defensive players.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's going to do. He's also, Andy Reid's still going to play calls, be the offensive coordinator, but EB is going to have some say in like the run game, which Matt Nagy was also dog shit with. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go from a bottom 3 run game. Again, we're not going to be a top 3 all of a sudden, but we're going to go middle of the pack, which is a huge improvement.
Yeah.
You go from like 29, 30, 31 to 15, 16, 17. That's going to help so much. So I think you pair accountability with a little bit of improvement in the run game, paired with we have Patrick Mahomes after a few weeks and the rust is off. Like, he'll be fine. Patrick, this year he even played really well for a decent amount, even with soft Charmin at offensive coordinator. So I think it's just going to have a bigger impact with the Chiefs than almost any other coordinator hire across the league, honestly.
Yeah, I fear that as well. And also too, what was interesting is it sounds like this is going to help Travis Kelce come back. Yep. I feel like if they didn't bring anyone of this caliber back, he was just going to retire. Now it sounds like he's actually excited to come back, rather than the question of, is he going to retire looming around the NFL? This might be his swan song. And yeah, to your credit, dude, like the Chiefs have always looked lackadaisical the last few seasons, like not sharp. Yep. And ironically, it was when EB left. So not great for the rest of the division now that he's back. So
yeah, no, and I completely agree. These dudes are competitors, right? We heard when he went to Washington how some people said he was kind of rude, kind of mean. They didn't like him. The Chiefs have that championship roster for the most part still, where they're competitive and they want to be pushed. So it is a perfect marriage as far as, a guy like him and the Chiefs.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the last one. This one is head coaches moves. We're going to give some quick thoughts, so that way we can wrap it up here. We're running on about an hour and 20. Great conversation, though. Really, really good show. So Jim Harbaugh, was one of the first head coaches.
That was John.
John? Oh, I was right the first time. Golly.
Yep.
Hate twins. All right. John Harbaugh was hired by the Giants. God dang.
Now you see why Cody's trying to wrap this up.
Yeah.
All good, buddy. All good.
My mom asked him what he was drinking earlier.
Don't
She might have
ask.
been something.
It's clear and it tastes weird. All right. So Giants hired Harbaugh. Caleb, what are your thoughts about this hire quickly?
Yeah, I like it. I really do. I think it's a good fit for them, and they just need a couple more pieces, and they'll be good to go.
Okay. Corey, your thoughts?
Yeah, agreed. Get the coordinators right, which I've seen some of the names for the coordinators. This could be a NFC East champion team next year.
Austin?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, I think this is a home run for the Giants. Nailed it. Or the Jets, whatever team this is. I don't care.
Hell yeah.
All right, Dolphins. Corey, I know you shared your thoughts. Do you have any additional to add about the Dolphins hire?
No, you couldn't have gotten worse on this one.
Yeah, this is a bad hire. Austin, your thoughts?
Terrible.
Caleb?
Yeah, not great. They've got to add some more players, man, defensively in order for them to fit in what he wants to do.
I feel bad for our podcast buddy Drew from Des and Drew's Sports Balls pod. I don't know if he's excited about this. I know he gave his thoughts on an episode recently, but it's going to be a long 4 years. I'll say that. So we'll see how this goes. All right. Ravens hiring mentor. Caleb, what were your thoughts on this?
I love it. I hate to see him go from my team, but I think he's going to be a great fit there. A lot of people don't like it, but I actually really like this fit.
Okay. Austin?
Yes.
Sweet. Corey?
Outside of Harbaugh, this might be the best hire
Yes.
in this cycle.
Yeah, this was a really good one, especially with the attitude that they want to carry on with the Ravens. This was as good of a hire as you can have for what's available out there. So, yeah, this is a good one. All right. Falcons hire Stefanski. Austin, was this a good hire?
LOL.
Okay. Corey?
I'm gonna say no for now, but let me see what their quarterback situation is, and that could change my mind in the training camp.
All right. Caleb?
No, and I agree with Corey.
All right.
You don't agree with me? Okay.
I mean, you too. Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, listen, I like Stefanski. I don't know if he's up for the Falcons job. I feel like there's a lot of pieces there, and kind of similar to like what you had mentioned earlier, Corey, about the Browns not really having a direction. I'm not saying that the Falcons don't have a direction, but they're kind of all over the place. They started one way, were drafting another. They have good players on the defensive side. Offense is either good or bad, depends on the week. And I don't know if Stefanski is the guy to organize it all, even though he had somewhat offensive success in Cleveland for all things considered. I just don't know if he's better than Raheem Morris or maybe he's the same. So I think we'll see, to your credit, like we'll see in the offseason. But yeah, Falcons got their guy. So, all right. In this one, Bills promoted Joe Brady, their offensive coordinator, to their head coach. Austin, what are your thoughts on this?
Embarrassing.
Okay. Caleb?
It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Corey?
I'm not going to go the same route these two are. I mean, give it time. Maybe let's see what he does like for his coordinators. And then let's see what the GM does to see what they can do to improve this. So if I gave it a grade to it, I would say it's probably a C-.
I would be more encouraged if it was Joe Brady being promoted and a new GM or president of operations or whatever being brought in. But because it's Brandon Beane and essentially how they kind of just threw McDermott under the bus, and the owner also kind of backed that up. I think this Joe Brady promotion is because they didn't have anyone else that was interested in the job. And it's either lose Joe Brady in general, which maybe they have high regard to, or you don't get any other quality head coach. Maybe you settle for a Pete Carroll thinking that he's going to come in and change some things. And I don't know if that is what the Bills wanted to do. So, and then a couple more coming up. Mike McCarthy, hired by the Steelers. I know we kind of briefly chatted about this in our group chat, so I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. But Caleb, what were your thoughts on McCarthy going into Pittsburgh?
I think this was the worst hire, personally.
Oh, okay. All right. Austin?
This is the one I want to spend a little time on, which is why others are super short. I agree with Caleb, but I also disagree with Caleb. This is the worst hire, but damn it, does that dude love Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
So it's hard. Like, I don't know what to think. He's right for the city, but I don't like him as a coach.
Yep.
So I'm torn. Because usually when a dude like that loves the city that much, and like he brings the vibe you're looking for. But again, I hate him as a coach, so I don't know what to think. So I agree with Caleb and I disagree with Caleb.
Okay, Corey?
He has almost the identical record as Mike Tomlin does. So, yeah, no, I'm not at all. This would be an F for sure, because at this rate, why would you not just keep Tomlin? Because at least the players bought into what Tomlin was doing. Right. And you bring in Mike McCarthy, who barely had success in Green Bay. Yes, he won a Super Bowl, but Aaron Rodgers was in his prime. Failed in Dallas. No success there. So it's like, yeah, with that almost identical record with Mike Tomlin, I'm just getting here like, what?
Out of their norm, too.
It was out of their norm.
They usually go like mid-50s, young, up-and-comer who nobody saw but them. Mm-hmm. And then this.
This might be the first bridge head coach that the Steelers are looking in their franchise in order to get to maybe a candidate down the road. I don't know if it's the absolute worst hire. I think the Dolphins one is pretty bad, but I think with this one, to Corey's credit, and also kind of very similar to Austin, it's not great, but it's also not the worst that they could have done. It's the same record as Mike Tomlin. It's really no different. I think what maybe the Rooney family liked about Mike McCarthy is maybe that he's kind of like an old school mind, and maybe he's a guy that could, tread water, and they might be competitive in this division, which isn't the greatest as it is right now with having 3 new coaches out of 4 teams. So I feel like that they might think of this as like, okay, this is an opportunity to still stay relevant while still being able to coach up some young players and, get the most out of people and kind of go in an offensive direction. But I don't see Mike McCarthy being a Super Bowl winning head coach in Pittsburgh. I don't know if they're going to garner the free agents that are going to make them that elite talent that they used to be. So, I mean, it's okay. I mean, I think they're going to start having losing seasons where Mike Tomlin was just, either wild card or a 500 record. So I think it's, like, it's not the worst thing, but it's
for him. Zach Taylor's in the division still. So
yeah. I mean, he may not be the worst coach in the division, but they're not going to be the best team in the division by any means. I mean, I don't know if they'll be 10-6 or 6-10. So
he's easily going to be the second best head coach.
You think so?
He'll be better than Zach Taylor and the Browns.
No one wants that.
So, I mean, you got to think it's going to go Minter, McCarthy, Taylor, Browns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably. Minter is probably the top head coach in that division at the moment. So, all right. So so there's 3 teams with open head coaches. I think quickly, is there a coach that comes to mind? And then we'll wrap up. So Caleb, for the Cardinals job, is there a coach that comes to mind that takes that?
Not at the moment. I've went around with a bunch, and everyone that I have in mind doesn't end up there. So at the moment, I don't even have a specific top candidate right now for that job.
Corey?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Caleb on that. I'm not sure that there is a top one right now. I think they could be also just to see maybe shoot their shot with Kubiak after the Super Bowl. But yeah, I don't have a for sure set candidate for this one.
Austin?
Yeah, I don't either. And I think it's just not a desirable job. I think they've probably, they had targets and said targets were like, no, thanks. So again, like, yes, there are good options out there, but again, I don't think it's a desirable job. Not with how they've been the last decade. You still have Kyler on the roster. Everything that comes out about him has always been kind of questionable. So I don't think people want that job.
There's only one candidate that I think that they may see if they can full court press, get him in, and that may be Sean McDermott. But I don't know if Sean McDermott wants Arizona. So that would be the only coach that I can see gets them the culture that they're looking for. But it wouldn't be with Kyler Murray, and it's not going to be with Jacoby Brissett. It's a full rebuild, and it's going to be like a project very similar to what he took on when he started with the Bills, ironically. But I just don't know if he wants Arizona and to take that on. I think he's more or less looking for a team that's ready to compete before they're ready to rebuild, I think. So, and then the Browns, I can't think of any candidate that comes to mind for the Browns. I think Austin said Jim Shorts is probably going to, or Corey said Jim Shorts is probably going to wind up there. I don't know of anyone that's wants the Browns job. So
yeah, we can skip this one and go to the important one. It's an AFC West team.
All right. So I'll say this quickly. There's a lot of rumors about what the head coach is. I think we're starting to see that the Raiders are starting to kind of go a little bit more all in with Clint Kubiak. They didn't get Joe Brady, which I don't think they offered him a position. There was another offensive-minded coach, Davis Webb, who's essentially going to be promoted within the Broncos organization. That's why they got rid of Joe Lombardi. So I think this is as good of an opportunity as the Raiders are going to have to get an offensive-minded guy for the potential number 1 overall pick, Mendoza. So I think Clint Kubiak is probably the guy for the job. I just don't know if the Raiders are patient enough for that, because I'm hearing from other Raider content creators and news outlets that the Raiders are looking to move to like a Chris Shula, or they were throwing around the idea to bring in Davis Webb and Brian Daboll, but both those guys got hired by separate places today. So I think the Raiders are looking to make a decision pretty quickly, which concerns me because I like Clint Kubiak. I think maybe I just have blinders on, but I feel like he's a good candidate. But it sounds like the Raiders brass is really rushing with, okay, let's get to the finish line because other candidates are getting hired up. And it's reminding me of last season when we didn't get Ben Johnson and there was all these rumors that we were connected to him. So that's my thoughts on the Raiders opening.
That's all that counts. Take us home.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, guys. So, man, what an episode. Just a quick recap, guys. Tomorrow we have Carl Pickens on. That will be at, I think it's 8 Central, right? 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern. Carl Pickens will be on. And I can't wait for our guy, Caleb, to get a chance to talk to him, talk some Vols, and also talk about some NFL season that has happened. And then also next Tuesday will be Derek Johnson, as we said at the top of the episode. That'll be at 7 p.m. Central Time. That'll be 8 p.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. So shout out to our sponsors. I'm sorry I didn't really touch base on these sponsors earlier today. But Vidai Coffee, go to vidaicoffee.com today to get your supply, or go to Amazon to purchase your coffee. Rival Codes, go to rivalcodes.com and use Rivals10 to get 10% off your merch today. It is not just apparel, it is territory. Visit Troy at Field Ops Kansas. Go to fieldops/kansas.com, and you guys can connect with Troy and get your guys' field markings or any sort of league field markings done for your sporting event, and visit Troy and the crew. Also, Angie and her team at Emporia State Federal Credit Union, they are the War Room's Bacon of Choice. They are Season 1 sponsors, and we can't wait to see what Season 2 brings with them as well. And also the main sponsor, JBW Solutions. Go visit jbwsolutionsllc.com today for all safety compliance, OSHA regulations, anything you need regarding your business and safety. They've got you covered in the greater New Mexico area. And they also do virtual trainings as well. They are veteran-owned, safety-driven, community-focused, great partners. Jeff and them have been a blessing to us. We can't thank them enough for all that they do. And we can't thank you guys, all the viewers right now watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, turn on post notifications. Follow us at West War Room Rivals on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, all those great channels. Corey and the guys will probably be live throughout the week. Again, don't forget to come back tomorrow for Carl Pickens. Shout out to everyone watching right now, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.